Gone with the Whisk. Today we are making breakfast casserole. Okay, this is made with shredded hash browns, cheese, onions, bell peppers, a little bit of celery, cream, eggs, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning. You can also add cooked ground beef or ground sausage. Sorry. Really much anything you eat with breakfast, like savory stuff, you can add to this dish. It's very versatile. You can change out the cheese for a different type of cheese. You can change out, if you don't want the celery mix, you can change out like fresh vegetables or a whole different seasoning blend. That's up to you. The original recipe I found actually did use evaporated milk, but I'm using heavy cream. You could say it's because of, wanting a little more richness and creaminess to it, but I really just forgot to get evaporated milk, so we're working with what we have, because that's what you do. When you cook, you work with what you have. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to clear the stuff away. I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. If you're Celsius, I don't have a good conversion for you in my head, but probably look into that from my description, maybe. I might have a Celsius conversion description. If I don't put it in there, remind me. I'll stick it in. Okay. So I'm just going to move all these to the table behind me. It's something I try not to do because I wind up junking up this table. I have my dining table set with plates, glassware, candlesticks, 2 sets of salt and pepper shakers. All my jadeite collection is pretty much on there. It's like some nice fancy glass plates. Because my theory is, if I keep my dining table set, I'll be less likely to dump stuff on there. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But what we're gonna do, if you were adding meat to this, I'm a vegetarian, so I am not adding the sausage. But if you were going to cook a pound of ground sausage, you would do it now and cook it until there's no more pink, and then you would drain off all the fat. And then set aside for this next step, which is your veggies. I am not using this whole bag. I mean, this is like a whole pound of onions and peppers, bell peppers, and a little bit of celery. That's too much, especially for one person. I live alone. I work like 50 hours a week, if not more sometimes, depending if I'm teaching classes or have a bunch of wedding consults. So I don't have a lot of time to cook meals during the week. I don't feel like cooking meals during the week when I get off work. So I'm trying to do some meal prep right now. I think maybe a little more. I'm trying to do a little bit of meal prep. And that's what these videos are helping me do, because, especially with this recipe, I can. There's one big lump of green something. Let's see what it melts into. Now I can spend one day cooking a whole bunch of foods and then freeze stuff and then eat it out throughout the rest of the week. And after I film it, that is cool stuff for you guys to watch. And if I get enough, a bit of a stem on there, I'm going to toss that out. If I get enough of my videos watched, I could actually make a little bit of money from this. Not doing that yet, but hopefully I'll get there soon. I just reached 1,000 subscribers, and then the next day I hit 1,100, maybe even 1,200 by now. I'm getting a lot of you people on here, so thank you so much for subscribing if you've already done that. And if you haven't, I hope you will. But yeah, now we're just going to cook these veggies here What did I just hear? My dishwasher is running right now, so there's a little bit of extra background noise. Sorry about that. I'm going to try and do a noise reduction filter when I edit the video. But I could have sworn I just heard, like, my dog's toenails tapping on the tile floor. So right now I have the dog and both cats locked in the other room, so they're not getting in my way or making a whole bunch of noise while I'm trying to cook and film for you guys. So we're just going to cook this. Okay, we broke that up. There's a little bit of moisture in here. We want to kind of cook that out. So we don't want our breakfast casserole to be really soggy. Especially since there's already a lot of moisture in the potatoes. We don't want to add, more to that and just have a soggy, goopy mess. We want a nice, crispy, delicious, savory meal. So I am going to just let this cook a minute. Let the moisture cook out. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of oil just to kind of saute it a little bit. Just bring out some of that flavor. Get this oil out and ready, just regular vegetable oil, nothing crazy. Oh, the oven is preheated, so we are ready there. Always preheat your oven, that way everything's evenly heated and your food cooks evenly and faster. This is very much a do as I say, not as I do kind of moment here, because I am very bad about just turning the oven on and throwing in a frozen pizza and, the top's burnt and the inside's still frozen when I take it out. So, always try to preheat. Okay, most of that moisture is gone. I'm just going to kind of press with my spoon here. Stringy bit of vegetable. Just gonna pull that out. I think this mix has actually a little bit of parsley in there too. But onion skin, yeah, that's weird. When we have all the skin and stuff. Yeah, this mix has a little bit of parsley. It's actually called, I don't know about other parts of the country or the world, but it's called Trinity here in Louisiana. It's onions, bell peppers, and celery. It's used a lot in gumbo and jambalaya, a whole bunch of Cajun and Creole dishes have these three vegetables as their base. And you can buy bags of this here frozen to throw in your meals, and it's a very good way to add veggies, flavor, a little extra nutrients. I might be cooking some of that out by sautéing it like this, but a little more oil just to go in. But there are still good things in eating cooked veggies. Okay, so that is going. Oil over here out of the way. Now this dish is great because you can actually make it the night before and then just pop it in the oven when you wake up. I think you have to put the fridge, I think you pull it out, let it set for about 30 minutes so they come room temp-ish, and then throw it in the oven, and by the time everyone is ready for breakfast, it is done and ready to go. It takes about an hour to cook through, so it takes a little bit of planning. You can't just say, oh, it's 8 o'clock, what do I want for dinner? How about breakfast casserole? You've got to cook everything and then cook that for an hour. So it takes a little bit of planning, but this is great to just make ahead at night, go to bed, wake up the next morning, pull it out, let it come to temp, and then bake it for an hour. So after an hour and a half after you wake up, you've got breakfast ready to go. And it's an all-in-one breakfast. It's got your veggies, it's got your potatoes and your cheese, it's even got, sausage if you add that to it. And then, I'm not adding meat to mine because I'm a vegetarian. I could add the, what's the brand? Morningstar, the fake meat, Beyond Meat, crumbles, because they have stuff that tastes and feels like real meat. I don't like using that a whole lot, just because, I don't really like it on some stuff I do. Plus it's kind of pricey, but this right here, this without the meat, totally good too. Alright, so I'm going to wipe up these little bits of veggies that kind of fell out. Always clean as you go. And that is definitely something I always do and not just something I'm doing for the camera. I totally always clean as I go. Don't ask my boss that though. Alright, so now, let's see. We need a big bowl, which I did not remember to have ready. And my nice big bowl is actually dirty. So let's see what else I have. Nope, doesn't there. Oh, here we go. Forgot about this big stainless steel bowl from a kitchen supply store or restaurant supply. Works great. I may or may not have allegedly, accidentally, kind of, sort of, whoopsie daisy, stolen this from my last job. I was a head pastry chef for 2 restaurants downtown, or a restaurant and a coffee shop owned by the same person. And I would bake a bunch of stuff out of one kitchen and, take it to the other place, or I'd do a bunch of prep at one kitchen and take stuff to the other to bake there, or whatever. And I'd have my car loaded with cinnamon rolls and ingredients and mixing bowls and stuff, going back and forth and back and forth. And when I quit, I apparently had a stray mixing bowl left, and I thought about taking it back, but then I thought I was a little mad, and I'd probably frisbee it through the window, and that's a whole police record and stuff. So probably best that I just kept it. Because it also became a weapon. I was really, really mad when I quit. Okay, but this is a 26-ounce, 1-pound bag of potatoes, and we're just gonna add that whole thing in here. It's a lot. Okay, so spread that out, and we're going to mix in our veggies here, and it feels like I didn't do quite enough. Maybe I should have sauteed some more. Still good. It looked like way less potatoes in that bag. So maybe, I don't know, anything. Should I? Let's stir, trying to see the potato to veggie ratio. I think I'm gonna cook a little more. You know what? It's my recipe, my video, I can do it. we're just going to set that aside. And these do need to be thawed out pretty much anyway, so I should have said that at the beginning. Thaw out your bag of frozen hash browns. So if it sits there, it's fine. So let's pull out a little more of this Trinity blend. And think about the fact that I guess it would cook down and take up a little less volume. So we've used about 2/3 of the bag now. That seems pretty good for that amount of potatoes. Just gonna heat this back up. Ooh, what is that? A little string of onion skin bits. Just gonna heat this up. And this is called Trinity, at least here in Louisiana or in the South, because there was a really big Catholic influence back when because it was the French settlement and the Spanish settlement, and that's really reflected the French and Spanish in the food, along with African and Caribbean, which I guess the Caribbean food is really influenced by African, but African, Native, French, and Spanish is going to all combine into Cajun and Creole. But there's a really big Catholic influence there. And so Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, well, that became Trinity, the onion, bell pepper, and celery. There's a big chunk of skin there. This brand normally does not have that, but that's weird. Maybe it's a batch with a bunch of skins and stuff. Oh well. While that is heating up and sautéing, we are going to move on with the other bowl of stuff. Let me see. So we're going to add in the cheese. And it says at this point add 1.5 cups. And as you can see, I am very, very scientifically measuring out 1.5 cups exactly. I think I had about 2 cups of this 4-cup bag. It's fine. It's very hard to add too much cheese to something, I'm just going to give that a nice big stir. Nice, cheesy, yummy dish. I mean, you cannot go wrong with cheese and potatoes, right? You can't. Now let's stir this up. The frozen stuff's melting. I'm gonna have some moisture in here to cook out. Look at all that green celery. Just got lots of color. Bell peppers, bright red. I might not cook this quite as long as the last batch, because this does have to cook again in the oven, so we don't want to have all of that liquid cooked out, so we don't want it to dry out too much. Because some of those, I don't think they're dry, but they are pretty cooked. And I use my hands a lot when I cook, but I do wash my hands. I worked in kitchens for the past, 3 years? I don't know. So hand washing is constant, second nature, I guess. I use gloves a lot for messy things, but not really for, germ reasons. But it's because I don't want to, stick my hands into cookie dough and have all that sticky on me. Because germs, that gives you a false... the gloves give you a false sense of security when you cook. Because you think, oh yeah, I'm clean and wearing a glove, and then you're walking around scratching your head and picking up your cell phone and doing all kinds of stuff with this glove. And, that's not great. back during COVID when it first hit. I was working retail, and I had some people who like would not wear gloves or didn't want to wear gloves because it gives you false insecurity, and that's true. But also, it's also a good reminder, like, oh, you have a glove. Don't like touch your face. Don't eat food. Wash your hands. Because that was back in the days and we didn't know how COVID was spread or what did it. And the CDC was like, take all the precautions. Okay, so we're cooking out a lot of this moisture. Let that cook a minute. Let that water come out. So this would be a little bit quicker if I weren't having to go back and add more vegetables. So go ahead and just do that from the start. Other baking pan. I need one more bowl that I don't have clean. I am really prepared for this video, guys. Goodness. Let's see what I have. Well, I bet a big old measuring cup will work just as good, though. Have another big bowl. Yep. So while this heats up, it cooks down just a little bit. Actually, it's almost done, so I can hold off on this just a minute. Let's add a little bit of oil here. This is sauteed a little bit to bring out the flavor. But again, I think I might have overcooked those just for this application. If you're putting it like in a dish where you're going to be eating like you're still kind of doing that here. But if you're going to like cooking these for a mix or like a soup or stew or something, you know, you might want to kind of overcook it just to bring out all that flavor and the darker colors. I think here we kind of want it to be a little more brighter color, a little more crisp to it. And you could definitely use fresh veggies for this. I use a lot of frozen veggies because, well, I live alone and I'm cooking for one, so I don't buy a lot of fresh because stuff goes bad before I get around to using it all. This is a waste of money. And canned veggies and stuff, I use some certain things, but again, I'm one person, I'm not going to eat like a whole can of corn, you know, so I use bags of frozen stuff and just cook what I need and just put the rest back in the freezer to, you know, stay fresh. Okay, I think this is pretty good. Cooked down just enough to have some extra flavor, but it's still got some crunch to it and still got some bright colors. So that's hot. Alright, now that we've been just a little bit sidetracked there with extra veggies, put that up. Alright, so now you grab your baking dish. Normally you would do this in like the largest size casserole dish you have, like a 9x13, or even a little larger if you have that. However, like I said, I am meal prepping for myself, so I am using 3 loaf pans here. I'm going to bake one, and like I said, you can cover this, put it in the fridge overnight, but I am going to wrap these up really well and freeze them. I'm going to bake one today, and I'm going to freeze 2 to have later, so I have, you know, this to eat off of a couple days, and then in the next couple weeks I can have these. So that's going to be a nice big help for me, because like I said, I live alone. I don't like cooking, you know, big meals for one person, and it's really hard to cook meals at all for just one person, because pretty much every recipe has enough for 2. And even if you do scale things down for one person, there's always some leftovers. And I'm not always big on leftovers. I spray things like too much, but I have like horror stories of things sticking, so I'll always go overboard. And it's fine, because the only person it hurts is my wallet. I have to keep buying more cans of spray. But yeah, cooking meals for one person, it's just kind of, it's hard, because like recipes are like big, you know, feed your family of 12, and having to scale that down to, you know, one person. It's either still too much food or not enough food, and it's just so much easier to be able to make small portions, or make a big serving and like divide it up in small portions and freeze. That way I can eat all this food without it going bad, and I don't have to eat the same thing every single day, because that's, you know, a big problem with me. I get tired of food very quickly. So I am just adding in big scoops to each tray here. Each pan here. And I am not making this, you know, scientific or measuring or weighing or anything. I'm just, you know, scooping one at a time until they all have about the same amount. And look at this. This is all the potatoes and the cheese. It's a little more. And the veggies are all in here, and it looks so good. So good. Look at all of that stuff here. It's still a little warm. I don't want to put the stuff on there and shatter it. Let's take all this extra little bits. Which one looks like it has the least? Spread that out pretty even. Spread that out. Let's say this one. Alright. So now we're done with part 1. Sounds so mysterious. Ooh, what's part 2? We're just going to set these to the back. Okay, now, it's a good thing I didn't dirty up another bowl, because why have an extra dish? We're going to crack our eggs into here. And let me see, that was 8 eggs, I believe. Pull up my notes again. Yeah, 8 eggs. It's always good to have a place to put your eggshells ready before you start cracking. So bring down the skillet that I was using. And throw them in there, and I'll dump it in the trash. Then I clean up in a minute. That's 3. And these are just regular large eggs. I love like farm fresh eggs. You do have to crack those individually just to be on the safe side, and then add into your bowl. But I love, especially like scrambled and stuff, because they're just so much healthier. Like half the time when you get these from the grocery store, the yolks are so pale that they're almost white. Like these actually look pretty good. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But when you get farm fresh eggs, like they are orange yolks. So good. I also love like duck eggs. So larger. It's harder to bake with because most recipes use they're made for large chicken eggs. But if you're just eating them like scrambled or whatever, or fried or however you eat eggs for breakfast, oh, they're so good. You should definitely, if you have the opportunity to have farm fresh eggs or farm fresh duck eggs, do it. Okay, so now I'm going to add in about a cup of cream. And like I said, the original recipe said to use evaporated milk, but we're just going with what we have. And still work just the same. Pop that back in the fridge. And now we're going to add in some Italian seasoning, a little extra flavor. Yum, yum, yum. And some pepper. And some salt. And look, I started buying these at Walmart a couple years ago because there's more plastic and more waste, I know, but you don't have to refill the salt shaker. Like I have 2 sets of salt shakers on my table, but they are purely decorative. 'Cause I am personally so bad about, oh, it's empty, and then just using the big container of salt or pepper from the cabinet. So those are just smaller, easier to use. You don't accidentally pour like a ton of salt out of your big carton, and you run out, you just throw it away and get a new pack. But now we take our whisk and just mix all this up. We're going to break those yolks up. There's still a whole yolk. I hold my whisk kind of odd sometimes, but like I have problems with my hands, so I just do what's easier for you. It's all mixed together. Sorry. It's all mixed together. There's a nice yellow color. All the seasonings are mixed in. Alright. Nice and thick. Alright, so what are we going to do now? Let's just pour this over the top of your dish or dishes if you're like me and planning ahead here. Try to get it, if you're doing multiple dishes, try to get it kind of even. You want the same amount of egg and cream in each one. And you want to kind of, cover the whole thing. This would definitely be easier if you're doing this in a big casserole dish, like one big batch. Because I think I got some little parts that didn't mix in quite well. But since it is liquid, it is filling the bottom of the pan. So there will at least be egg all the way through. I'm just trying to get this top bits that may have missed some. Kind of just gently stir it in. You don't want to mash anything or, you know, create a big mess or nothing, but okay, so now we've got these done. Now we're coming back to our cheddar cheese. And you're supposed to top your breakfast casserole with the last half a cup of cheese. And once again, we are very, very scientifically measuring this. Do not ever let a recipe tell you that you're adding too much cheese, okay? There's never too much cheese, y'all. I mean, yeah, there can't be too much cheese, but you know what I mean. Listen to your heart. Not, you know, Julia Child or Emerald Lagasse or Miss Betty Crocker. Okay, so now I'm going to go sprinkle on just a little more Italian seasoning, just a little extra flavor, a little color. Look at that. Okay, so I am, like I said, baking one dish now and freezing the other two. So I'm going to take this one and just pop it in the oven. And I am going to set a timer for 1 hour. And start. Okay, so while that's going, we're going to, okay, that's finally cool. Wipe up my mess from here. All right. I'm going to take my plastic wrap and see if I can get it. This one doesn't want to unroll too well. I'm going to lay it out, cover it this way. Alright, wrap those edges in. And then I'm just going to go around the side just one more time. I mean, this is kind of thin. I just want to add an extra layer of insulation, you know. The cling wrap we use at work or in restaurants in general is typically a lot thicker. So it just kind of seals in there better, and but that works pretty well. Stick this in the freezer. And we're going to do the same with the other pig. Come on, unroll. Okay. And if you're freezing this, I would say pull it out probably the night before. Like if you want to eat this for breakfast one morning, pull it out, stick it in the fridge overnight. A little more. So that it thaws, and then just, like I said before, let it come to room temperature about half an hour, and then pop it in the oven for about an hour, and you're good to go. I wouldn't freeze this, you know, too long. Or like anything, like you can freeze it for probably a couple months, but it's got all that airspace in there still that I would probably try to eat it, you know, quick pretty quick, just so nothing gets freezer burnt or anything. But I mean, if you make 3 pans like this and eat through 1 pan a week, it'll be perfectly fine. So I'm going to stick this one in the freezer too. And let's move some stuff around. Alright. Put this back in the drawer. Through the magic of video editing, we have 2 minutes left on the timer. It smells, 1 minute left. It smells really good in here. All the cheese, all the seasonings, all the veggies. It smells really good in this kitchen. So, let's get ready. We got 40 seconds left. If y'all try this at home, let me know how it turns out. If you cooked it just like I did, or if you added some sausage or veggie meat options, or if you had any other ingredients or took out ingredients, let me know. Ten more seconds on the timer. Alright, we are ready. There we go. Let's turn the oven off. Oh gosh, look at that. Look how good that looks. See all that cheese. It's got nice and crispy on top. It's a little bubbly. There's no oil in this except for the little bit we cooked the veggies in. Maybe some of that spray. It's a little bubbly there, but look. That's the good thing about over spraying your baking dishes, is that everything just peels away perfectly. Oh, but look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a plate here. And I'm just gonna cut, that much off. Ooh, that's really hot. Okay, so look at that. We've got all the potatoes. You can see all the potatoes. The egg is cooked in. We got the veggies. We got the cheese inside, and then all on top there. Look at that. That looks really good. Let me grab a fork. And try it out. It's really, really hot, like it just came out of the oven. So it's still really hot. Oh, that tastes really good. That tastes so good, you guys. I was worried about the potatoes being like maybe a little mushy or anything, but it works so well. Oh, that's so good. Look at that cheese, so crispy. Eat that by itself. Let's try and get a bite with all the cheese and the crusty bits in there. Oh, that was really hot. It's really hot. Let's blow on that a second, let it cool off. Y'all, that is so good. And that is definitely like, you can eat this by itself as a meal. Like, and especially if you added in, like I said, sausage or fake meat substitute. Put that in there, so add more flavor, more substance to it. But it's great just like this too. You can eat this for breakfast. Like I said, prepare it ahead the night before. That way all you have to do is let it come to room temp, throw it in the oven. You can have it for dinner. I mean, You can do lots of things with this. That's really good. Yeah, this is my dinner for the night, and I am pretty happy with that. Alright, and so if you don't finish your whole thing, just wrap it up, pop it in the fridge, and reheat it the next day. And that's what I'm going to do, because I have this. That's probably about, 3 meals worth. I'll eat this in a few nights this week, and then I have some more in the freezer for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So this is going to be big help with meal prep and making sure that I am eating cheaply and fresh ingredients, because I am very bad about planning to come home and cook, and then getting off work and just deciding I am so tired, so I either run through a drive-through, get something, and that costs, $10, $15 no matter where you go. 10 is like if you just get a snack, basically. It's normally about $15. Or I DoorDash something, and that costs, $20, $25 just for one person. And that is not affordable, not in this economy. So I am trying to do better about eating out less and cooking more stuff, having stuff planned, because that's another big thing. It's like I get tired from work, I am exhausted, I don't want to come in here and cook, especially on a big meal for one person. So doing some meal prep on Sundays when I'm off is great, because then all I have to do is just warm something up, pop it back in the oven or the microwave or the air fryer or whatever I'm doing, and eat, and not have to worry about it, not to think, not have to stand in the kitchen after I stood in the kitchen all day at work. Just come home and eat stuff that I've created myself. And as an added bonus, I get to share it with you guys, and maybe eventually make some money off YouTube doing it. So it's a win-win-win. But I'm gonna get another bite of this because it's just really good, and it's really hot, but it can't stop. Okay, blow that off. So good. I think I should have added a little bit of garlic powder in there just to add a little more, something to it. But I mean, it's really good as it is. I think without the meat, it's basically kind of like a hash brown casserole that you would get from, say, Cracker Barrel or something. That's really hot. I'm gonna let that cool just a minute, but look at all those potatoes, and that egg custard was cooked through perfectly. We have these veggies and the cheese mixed in with the custard there. It's just so good. And the extra crispy cheese on top. I mean, you can't go wrong with potatoes and cheese, honestly. Maybe a little extra salt than what I added to it. Maybe I should have actually measured my ingredients. Crazy idea. But I will have the actual measurements for stuff in the recipe, in the description. But y'all know me, I just like to throw stuff in a pan, in a bowl, in a pot, and just wing it. Just a little bit of salt there. Let's see how it tastes now. Yep, that's it. I just did that. Sorry. Sorry. I just didn't add quite enough salt. Yeah, that so much better. But it's already good, but that just made it like better. Alright, so I'm gonna finish eating this, and I'll let that cool. I'll let that cool, wrap it up, pop it in the fridge, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry. I talk a lot like I do with these videos. I start coughing just because I have asthma in general. And then it's been, the weather changing and it's pollen season that's making my asthma worse. So, it is definitely, goodness. Sorry, y'all. It's definitely time to end the video. But like I was saying, thank you so much for watching today. If you have any friends who like cooking and baking, be sure to share my channel with them. We'd love to have them join me here. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And check out in my bio and my description, I've got a Linktree link that goes to all my different socials on Instagram and Etsy and everywhere. Just give it all a check it out. Follow me. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.